part 3 and we're kind of just reclaiming the Constitution, right? And so we're diving straight into this whole thing about NHS accountability and what it actually feels like on the front line. And it really makes you wonder, like, why do patients keep getting lost when responsibility just sort of circles around but no real protection ever shows up? It's basically this liability loop where care is so fragmented that no one actually owns the whole patient pathway. And after all the recent reforms, there's this really serious question hanging in the air: who actually holds the duty of care and who's holding the risk? Because honestly, we're watching legal accountability just kind of evaporate in real time. And vulnerable patients, they just become this sort of hot potato being bounced around between different care boundaries with no one really taking ownership. And that creates this really heavy moral distress, like such a psychological toll on clinicians who are stuck working in unsafe conditions. Because when governance fails, the system won't hold the risk. It's the frontline staff who are left carrying it completely on their own. They're holding this crushing weight of patient outcomes that they're not even structurally empowered to influence. And you can really see the gap between all these shiny corporate promises about partnership and then the actual reality, which is unowned care. And by delegating everything to local boards, it's created this dangerous vacuum where suddenly nobody is the legal boss of safety. So then it becomes like, how do we fix this loop? This isn't decorative language or a polite suggestion. It's actually a legally binding anchor. And I think that's really important to sit with for a moment. We have to enforce its minimum standards because that's the only real way to give distressed staff proper structural support. And when we do that, it's like we're turning abstract data back into actual human lives. And it sort of reimagines governance into something that feels like a true national service. And the striking part is that responsibility and duty already exist. The Secretary of State has intervention powers right now. So the real issue isn't that we're missing rules. The responsibility is there. And yet the daily suffering still continues. And it just makes you wonder, are we really going to plunge into more restructuring before we finally enforce these basic constitutional standards? What do you think?